joining us today. We're excited here at Artisti to be heading out to see the guys at England Brewing Co. We've been collaborating with them for a couple of years now on adding our coffee into their coffee stouts. So a couple of years ago we did the 750ml bottle. Last year we did a really cool cold brewed molten beans. And this year the boys out there have been doing an almond milk coffee stout. So it's a bit of a twist. A couple of weeks ago we sent them the beans to do some kegging, and that's all happened, which is great. And today is the second batch that's gone down from the boys, and we're going to be doing the canning of those. So it's a pretty nice morning here at the minute. It's a little crisp, but we're going to be heading over the range. Over to through Ebor and then into Armidale and to Uralla. It's going to get pretty chilly out there, so we're going to have to rug up. But yeah, get ready and come for the journey.
Hey Coley, how are you, buddy?
I'm alright, man. How are you doing?
Really well.
Good, good.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here.
It's going to be a fun day, drinking some brews and
Drinking
getting
some
the
brews,
stout happening, eh?
get the stout happening.
You got something for him there, Luke? What's in the van?
Mate, got some coffee for
The
you.
coffee has arrived.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Let's go get into it, eh?
Yeah, let's go.
Ryan, we'll be doing this a lot today.
Hey Ben, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good.
Sorry, nice meeting you.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, Ben, hang on.
So there's pressure on top, but this is really important. That if you if we cut the water off now, can you do it again?
Oh, look out.
Yeah.
What do you got there, mate?
Here we go.
What's that?
That is the almond milk coffee stout that we used the champion
yeah.
blend in.
The first taste, eh?
First taste.
Ooh.
Thanks Ben for having us here today. We're so excited to be coming out and canning our coffee stout.
Yeah, third year.
Third year. Mate, the lovely weather day you put on. I know it snowed here yesterday, so I'm glad you
Cleared it up for you.
cleared up the snow for us, mate. It's super excited to see the canning line and see the whole process about how these beers come together.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, thanks for coming and for the coffee.
Pleasure, mate.
Obviously.
So there have been a couple of things that are stepping it up this year. We've got almond into the beer and a different type of can, mate. So tell us about it.
Yeah, so we basically we thought of having a little bit of a milk theme this year with the beer. Sort of milk stout with lactose has been done a lot before, so we sort of thought, well, let's try something along, the nut line and came up with almond milk.
Yeah, awesome.
So so we've put quite a bit of quite a lot of almond flakes into the brewing process, and that's come out with a little bit of slickness and a really fine nuttiness to the beer.
Yeah, great.
It's not really going to pop out. It's in there as part of the flavour.
Okay, just adding a little bit more complexity and the whole
Just
coffee.
a little bit more depth,
Yeah, beautiful.
So it's this year's almond milk coffee stouts. It's a little bit higher alcohol than last year.
Okay.
We've put more coffee in than last year.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's a pretty big stout. So like we talk about in the beer world, it's got a little bit higher finishing gravity, so it's a little bit got a little bit bigger mouthfeel, which you'll hopefully all pick up on when you grab a can.
Yeah, beautiful. The cans are looking amazing, mate. The design's great, so it'll be good to see the finished product.
You'll glimpse the cans today probably, but we might just keep that nice release shot up our sleeves.
That's good.
But yeah, we're lucky. We've shrink wrapped the cans this year.
Okay.
So basically we need to make sure that Artisti logo is just working properly.
Right, it's looking like a cracker. So yeah, let's get into the day, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. So Ben, a bit of interesting gear here, a couple of different tubs. What's going on, mate? Tell us about it.
We've got two vessels here that will help us do what we do. We've got the mash tun, where we basically extract the sugars from the wort. And over there on the right, we've got the kettle where we boil the wort, do a few little hop additions, basically boil the wort so it's so there's nothing sort of weird floating around, and then we transfer over to the whirlpool where we spin that beer in a very gentle whirlpool to basically let any proteins or hops that might be floating around in the beer settle out into the bottom of that whirlpool before we then transfer it into a fermenter. So Ben,
Cool.
Our brewer's down here setting up for the transfer, and basically that's taken about 6 hours. Well, it will take about 6 hours for us to get the sugars out of the malt, boil that wort, put it in the whirlpool, and then transfer it into a fermenter. And once it's in the fermenter, that's where we pitch the yeast in and start to ferment and create beer.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's just the leftover.
So yeah,
Right down the end
basically all pretty simple. Malt went in, malt's going to come out, and we're going to give that to one of our happy locals. We'll feed it to his sheep.
Tasty
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's great. Good to have that, holistic approach.
Yeah,
Different ways.
nothing's wasted.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, that's it. A lot of sort of does get complicated, but basically the process is quite simple. So yeah, this is one that we did a little bit earlier. This is a batch of pale ale. It's fermenting away now. The yeast is quite active. It's blowing off, which is CO2 blowing off into this bucket. Fermenting for a couple of days, about 20 degrees. It'll sit here fermenting for another sort of 3 or 4 days. It'll slowly start to slow down when the yeast has consumed all the sugar, and we'll then crash that tank from around that 18-20 degrees down to about 1 degree, and then all the yeast will sort of flocculate out into the bottom of the cone, and then we'll transfer that beer into a bright beer tank where it'll be packaged from, which we can show you now, and that's that next step.
So Ben, we've got a finished beer product in these tanks. Is that what we're looking at? Or?
So this is the finished Artisti New England Almond Milk Coffee Stout. Probably should have said before that we put a little bit of almond in there just to give a little bit more texture and just another little layer to this beer, which has come through really nicely. So yeah, this is the final beer, brewed, fermented in the bright beer tank, and it's being packaged. We'll go through the canning process now, but yeah, this is where it's been in here for about 4 days, and now we're going to start canning it.
Great. And that's a flat product as it's really coming out into the can.
It's everything at New England Brewing Company is can and keg conditioned, or we have a secondary fermentation in the can and keg. It's a lot more natural process. We get a finer bubble in the finished product instead of forced carbonating it, which is the most common practice, basically because it's very simple and fast to do that.
Yep.
So we add 14 days to the process. Hopefully we get a better quality product that's got a little bit better shelf life, because the yeast is again nibbling at any remaining oxygen that's in that finished product.
Awesome. Sounds like a great way to get a nice smoother taste of that.
A lot smoother, a lot more natural. You know, this is basically the way that it's always been done for a carbonated beer.
Great. Yeah.
So today we're canning the Artisti New England Brewing Company Almond Milk Coffee Stout. So we'll just do a little run through.
You're right.
Oh, tripping over it.
Yeah, watch where you step. We'll just do a little run through the canning process and how we're going to get this beer in the can.
Yep.
And what's going to happen after that. So we're put about 400 cans on the feed-in table at a time, and they come around the corner over here. The cans get really gently rinsed, so that there's nothing, not that there probably is, but just to make sure that there's nothing inside those cans before we fill them. Then the cans go past our date coder. We put a packed on and best before date on the can, and then they're coming around the corner here, nice and neatly, hopefully, and then they're coming in underneath the filling head. So a couple of important things happen here. We're purging the cans with a little bit of CO2 to make sure that there's no oxygen in that can. And then we're also pumping just a little bit of CO2 in at the very end to just make sure it's basically all scrubbed out. So the cans get filled, all nice and level. Underneath our lid chute, we put the lids on, and then we get to the business end of canning. The cans are being sealed. Rinse. And around the corner, final stage, they're accumulating here. We've got to get them in boxes on the pallet. And then we actually can condition these in a warm room for about 14 days, and the cans will have a secondary fermentation. They'll fully ferment again. The yeast will produce some CO2, and the cans, the beer will be carbonated, ready for drinking. So put that away, and 14 days later we'll be back.
Look forward to tasting it. Well, thanks for having us today.
Thanks for coming up the hill.
Pleasure. It's been amazing to see the whole process of the beer and watch the canning line and be able to enjoy the fruits of labour, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, cheers.
Awesome. Yeah, cheers. Job done. Good, is it? Woo! New England Brewing.